All right, so yesterday we looked at how we can use the user function, how we can make the navigation bar, the header, and today we'll be looking into how we can create a gallery and use the CRUD operations to actually use the application in a proper prod level format. So let me share my screen and we will get started. Okay, before that, let me ask you this. Were you able to follow the steps I showed you yesterday? Were you able to do that? Both of you?
Yes, I do that.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
All right, great. Perfect. So the only change from yesterday in my version in compared to your version would be this container, the navigation container. So I added two vertical containers because I wanted to add a branding image on top of my navigation, and I changed the color to use a little bit dark color so that my white icons gets highlighted. So what I did is nothing. Earlier it was just two buttons. Now what I have done is, so this is my navigation container. I added one vertical container, another vertical container, and I cut pasted my two buttons inside that container. So that's the only change I've done. And when you're working with containers, one thing you can use is, if you are using flexible height, that means your parent container, which is this one, and your child containers will automatically take a portion of your parent container height. What does that mean? So if you see how, I'll zoom in slightly. So you see how with this purple lining is appearing starting from here and ending it here. So let's say I want to keep it responsive, but I want to increase the space utilization slightly up until here. So what I can do is fill portion. So I can use this to give, let's say, 0.6. So you see how it got moved up and moved down. You can just increase this to 0.8 and it will move down. You can see how you can configure this containers. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind when we are working with containers. So you can't just increase the height of this container manually, because that doesn't work with the horizontal and vertical containers. So that's one thing. And another thing which I wanted to show you is the gallery. So that's the main thing. Whenever we are working with any kind of application, the first and the most important thing in Canvas apps is gallery, and the second one is the form, right? So gallery to view the data, right? So we created one record yesterday in our events table, if you all remember, right? So that one record, we will be using galleries to display that record from front end side. Okay, so I have this container 5 here, which we will be using to uh, display our gallery. So let's start, and what we will do is we will create one horizontal container first in here. So I will create one horizontal container, and then I will add one gallery. So what I want is vertical gallery. Yes, I want vertical gallery. So you see how some demo records appeared and this thing. So that's what we need to use for now. And this, yeah, I'll add one more horizontal container to view some buttons, which will be optional. So in this container, I don't need this much uh, height of this. So I'll disable flexible height. I'll give 50 probably to show my filter buttons here. One more, just give 60. Yeah, so that will be 60. And this horizontal container will be used to define my gallery headers. So gallery headers, or you can say column headers, either of those. That too, I don't need flexible head width. I just need 50, and that will be my gallery headers. And then in my gallery, what I need is another horizontal container. Now, the main thing you need to keep in mind is now I added this horizontal container inside the gallery. So how to read the tree view? So this is called a tree view, you can see here. So this is the tree view. How you need to read this tree view is that, okay, you have one gallery, so that's your parent. And you see how indented the sub items are, right? So the gallery and the indented sub items are your container 12, rectangle 1, blah, blah, blah. So all these are child items of your gallery, right? And similarly, if you see, if I collapse this container, all these containers gets collapsed together. That means your parent for all these items is container 5. And you see how indented these items are. So that's how you need to read the tree view. Okay, so the top parent is container 1, and then you have two child containers, that is container 2 and container 3, and then another child container 4 and container 5, and then container 5 children's are container 10 and 11. So that's how you need to read it. So it's important that you understand I added container 12 inside gallery 1. So then I'll just delete these items which I don't need. Now what I need is I need to create labels so that I can display the column values. Okay, so I'll add one. Let's see how many columns we have in our events table. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we need to display 5 columns. So we'll add 5 text boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. I added 5 of them here. I'll add 5 of them in my container 10 as well to show the column name or gallery headers, column headers, however you want to call it. 3, 4, and 5. So you have 5 here and 5 here as well. And what we need to do now is first, this will be stretched across your gallery. Okay. So you see how they are aligned perfectly, right? So if you keep your this container, your how you want to call it, like column header. For now, let's just use column header wording. So your column header container and your gallery container, if they are aligned properly, then your text will be aligned pixel by pixel. You don't have to worry about that. That if the text is aligned with your values or not and everything. This will be perfectly aligned. Okay, so that's the beauty when you're working with this kind of responsive design. You don't have to worry about the X formulas, the Y formulas, which are like the traditional way of doing things. So for now, we'll just do this in container 12 as well. Heading. Okay, so this container width is 250. Okay, that's why. All right, it's not going all the way till here. This should be aligned now. Yeah, they're aligned. Okay, so now the skeleton is ready for your gallery. You can see text, text, text. Helpful? Not really, right? We need actual data to be visible. So for that, what we can do is first let's shrink the gallery slightly. So I don't want minimum height to this, probably 150. and template size 104 now. Yeah, so you can see by modifying the template size, you can modify the gallery as well. So now I have given template size as 80. So let's reduce the size um, of height of our container as well. So if we look at here, height 104, we don't need it. We need 80. All right, better. Now, the main thing, what properties, right? So we talked about different properties being available for all different components, right? So we talked about advanced panel and the properties drop down. So in Power Apps, there are in total, or the major categories are like 4 different categories of property. So how you can identify those different categories? So let's look at the items property. Okay, so items property is of type table. So the data type of items property is table. So you have, and the category of items property is input, because you are giving something as an input and your gallery is using that input to display some record. So the first category is input. Second is output, which will be your button on. I'll show you output property as well. And then we have behavior property, which is like your button on select, or your screen on visible, which we will look into that. And your fourth one is color or UI properties. So these are like 4 different main categories in Power Apps, which you can categorize each and every category. Okay. So our gallery, if I select the gallery, we have all these different properties. So if but just by looking at the name, you can understand if this is your input, output, behavior, or UI or color. The border color, you have your UI property, align in container, UI accessible label, UI border thickness, UI default is input, delay item loading, again UI display mode, this is again input, fill UI, fill portions, UI items input, and the most important one as well, right? So right now you can see it's connected to custom gallery sample, and these are like some sample records. But we want to do that now. We want to connect this to our events table. First, we need to connect the events table to our app. So we need to go to this data panel, click on add data, search for your events table. And you can see here, events, Microsoft Dataverse. Select it, link it to your application. Perfect. And the error is gone from the events as well, because it is now being recognized. So you can see I have my data here as well. So now you can still see text is still visible, but this is not of any use for us. So the next big thing which we'll be looking into, how you can actually show the data to your front end once you have connected your data to your gallery. That's what we have done. And to connect your data to the gallery, there is another function called this item. This item allows you to access column values connected to your table. So our table we connected is events, and this item actually allows us to link that particular text box to one of these columns. Any column, can be any column. So you have all these columns, it can be linked to any of your text box. So we will be using this item the moment we do dot, right? So dot is your dot notation. It's an operator which allows you to view all these column values coming from your table. Okay. Uh, can you guys hear me properly? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Uh, 1 second. I think Priya lost connection. All right. Yeah, let me share my screen again. Right. So we were talking about the dot notation. Yeah. So this first text box will be looking this item dot event title. So the moment we do that, the bootcamp title is now so bootcamp for that is available for us to view. And that's how you can actually link all your text boxes to your gallery one by one. And it will be responsive too. So this item dot event title, it is responsive and it is connected to that. Now, when I say responsive, you can see how it's not taking up the full text and it's coming down to the next line. So Bootcamp for Power Apps, what if we want to show all the text in a single thing? We can't just extend the just drag and extend the width of it. Need to follow your display panel, and you need to increase the width and map it with your column header text as well. So if we are giving 110 for this, let's say, or a little more, 130, 150, when this will take the full text, 180. Yeah, okay, so 180. Now you see how the alignment is now distorted. So that's why what we can do is give 180 here as well, and it is now all aligned. So when you're working with responsive design, it is essential that you keep the width of your column headers same as your gallery equivalent gallery text. Otherwise, there is pretty good chance that it will be misaligned. Now, the title instead of text would be event title. And the next column we will be connecting, that will be our description column. So we'll just quickly change the names first. Description, and this will be linked to this item dot description. The next will be linked to start date, end date, and venue. Okay, and we will fill this with a lighter shade of our color value, so that, okay, yeah, actually I didn't talk about name formulas, right? So now this is all linked. I'll quickly change this to this item dot all these, this item dot start date, this item dot end date, and this item dot venue. All right, so our gallery is looking something like this. So it is all mapped. Everything looks good, fine, venue, fine. Everything is aligned perfectly. Now, another concept in Power Apps is of global variables, local variables, and named formulas. Named formulas was recently released, and if I click the app, which I can see the formulas tab or property and the onStart property. Earlier, only onStart was there as a behavior property, right? So behavior means whatever is happening in response to your action in Power App, right? So whatever is happening, that means app is being opened. So that means app on start. So that's your behavior, right? And formula properties is also a behavior, but it gets triggered as and when this variable is being used anywhere in the application. So what I've done is, instead of hard coding my color, which is this navigation bar color, I have created a named formula and I've given this RGB value of my color, which I want to use, which is this dark green kind of a thing. And similarly, now what I want to do is I want to use this nav color to fill my column headers. So if I want to fill my column headers, I need to go to that horizontal container, go to the color property, and right now you can see it's RGBA 4 times 0. That means it is nothing but uh, like a white color, right? So what we need to do is color fade is being used to use like some lighter shades or darker shades of your color. Now my color is NF nav color, and I want to fade it by minus 50%, let's say. Okay, 50% a little too much. You can see how I'm changing the values, and the color shade is being changed. All right, so now I need to change the text color from black to white. So it will look something like this. We can make it pretty later on. I'm just using it to highlight it so that it is visible that this is like kind of my header. And then we'll quickly add one filter button. So I'll add a button, select the container. I want this, and this should be vertical, horizontal from right. I need to give a padding of 20. Yeah. And the button should be something like filter. Filters, icon before, icon would be filter. So that's how my filter button would look like. That's everything. And yeah, now I need to increase the width of this. Yeah. Now you see how it is showing me like 10/6/2025 only. So if you're working with, let's say, an actual organization and creating an application, you might have users from US region and UK region. So the date format would not work for both the regions together. That means DDMMYYY format is being used by UK, right? But your USA uses MMDDYYY. So it's kind of a situation where your Power App is not catering for both region users. So to counter that as a best practice, what I personally use is a named formula, which is something like your text. Okay, so NF, your date format, and your date format would be DDMMYYYY, and that will become your date format. Now we go here and we use another function called text. Now text functions allows you to format your text in any way. So our format would be NF date format, which we have just created, and it's not recognizing the format. I think I need to give. Okay, I see. I missed one N. Perfect. So now you see how it is displaying 6th of October 2025 instead of 10/8/2025 or whatever the value was. So that's That's the difference. These little details matters because it's the user experience which gets improved by showing these little details in a proper format and everything, right? So we have this. So we'll just change quickly here as well. And what we will do is NF date format and done. So you can see 6th of October till 8th of October. How easy to read this is, right? So quickly we improved the user experience by changing the format. Okay, so that's the beauty. So still our gallery is a little bit wide, like in terms of height, it's a little bit more to my liking. So what we will do is go to gallery. We will decrease the template size to 60 instead of 80. Okay, yeah, that's better. We'll decrease this to 60 as well. And yeah, better. Okay. Now, what we need to do next is we need to create some view icons and delete icons, because if you remember, our requirements was that admins or organizers can actually delete the event, create the event, and modify some details. Till now we covered the display part only. Okay, so now we will start covering add new event and um, add new event, modify the existing event, and delete an event. Okay, so now the add button will go up here. So we'll add one button again and switch order, add some gap between them. Perfect. And this would be my add event, just to improve the UX slightly. Plus icon, increase the width slightly. Okay, okay, perfect. So add event and filters. So this one will change slightly to a different color. Let's say a custom one. Xcode. Xcode would be this for my green color. Oh, okay, it doesn't like it. Okay, fine. We'll use the exact color under modern themes. And now that's all right. All right, we'll use this theme for now. Yeah, looks better. Okay, so then what we need to do is we need to create some kind of form to add an event. So what we will do is on click of this add button, what we need to do is display a form and capture the details like event title, description, start date, end date, and the venue, so that we actually store that information in our in our table. So that's what we will do. So we will quickly create one more container which will allow us to create an on-screen pop-up. So till now I've showed you everything should be in this container to make it responsive and everything. Now the catch, the exception case is when you are actually creating an on-screen pop-up. So for on-screen pop-up, the horizontal and vertical containers doesn't allow you to overlap things on each other. That's the drawback of responsive design in Power Apps. It won't allow you to overlap one thing on top of another. That's why we can't create the pop-up inside the container one. We need to create another pop-up. Sorry, we need to add another container to create the pop-up. So the another container would be of my type horizontal container. Yes. So that we can stretch across the screen. So everything gets disabled when they are adding um, a new event. Okay. So then what we will do is, okay, let's first quickly set the variables. So on click of add event, you see on select is your main property. On select is the behavior property. Okay. So on select, that means when someone is clicking this button, what should happen? So when anyone is clicking this button, what we need to do is create a local variable, that is your lvar. That's my naming convention for variables. So lvar show add event form, and value will be true. That's how we create a local variable, and the visible property of this container 3, visible property, will go to visible property. We will set this to lvar show event form. Okay, let's click this and this will be true. Yes, true. Okay, fine. Let's cover the whole screen now. And what we will do is we will create one vertical container inside this. This vertical container will take 50% of space. So this will be 0.5. And we will add another vertical container. Okay. Now you see the screen is now divided in two sections. So we'll be using the second section, which is this one, to add our form, right? So that's our vertical container. And now we can add one horizontal container in this vertical container, and then another vertical container. And this one, what we will be doing is nothing but the header. So we don't need flexible height. We only need 50 space for this header. Let's just say 60. And what we need here is nothing but one icon. So now this icon would be my that perfect. And then we just need a text. Text should be middle aligned. Yes. Add new event. Text size would be 20. Text width, flexible width, so it covers everything. And this would be my fill white, better visibility. And this this color would be my, let's say, 0.5. Now it's looking more like a pop-up. 3, 2, wait, 2. Yeah, okay, 2. Fine. And now you can see it's looking more like a pop-up now. Okay, so then where was my container? Yeah, now we need a close icon as well to close the pop-up. Was it cancel? Yeah, cancel. Ah, hideous. So big. 35, 35. Yeah, better. Okay, we need some padding from right. All right, close icon is done as well. Now the actual thing, the form. Okay, so we need to create the form, add this form, link it to our events table, and we'll add what fields we need to display in this form. All right, so by default, it is now showing event title, description, start date, end date, venue. Yes, status, we don't need it. Status reason, don't need it. Recorded on, you don't need it. So let's just remove the fields we don't need. So that's our import sequence number. Remove, created on, remove, status reason, remove, and status remove. We only need these details, and let's order them. Event details, start date, end date, venue, and then finally the description. And we will change this to 2 column, 1 column. Better. Okay. Now we have our form as well. We'll now add some buttons so that our form can be saved properly. So that will be again a horizontal container at the very bottom. 2 buttons inside that. And the height of this, don't need full thing. We just need 100, 100, 70. Okay. Gap is 10. Perfect. Now this would be my submit, and this would be cancel. Now my cancel button needs to be secondary. So submit and cancel. UX wise, if I'm opening, generally I'm opening this to actually submit something. So that should be my first option. And my cancel would be my second option. Great, perfect. Now I have add event, close, form, submit, and cancel. Now on the close icon, what I need to do is I just need to change the variable, which is false, if I want to close the pop-up. Click it. I have add new, close it, click it, close it. So some functionality is now done. So add event. Let's quickly see. Yeah, okay. So it is not displaying because you can see the default mode is edit now, right now. So you see the moment I play it, no items to display. That means your form is not ready to capture the data. And why is that? Because your default mode is set to edit. We need to change this to new so that it is ready to capture the data. Perfect. So now you can see I can actually give you event title. I can select a date, a time, and this will be saved. And I can do some okay. And the cancel button would be nothing but the same update context or my variable set to false, this one. And apart from this, what I need to do is reset from form 1 so that whatever values are there in the entered form, that gets reset it to a new form. Okay. So let's cancel this, open this, and now you see I have a fresh new form. So that's the function. That's the reset function. So reset form 1, it resets your form to its default state. So you can actually use again and create the form. All right, enough talking. Let's start some coding. So event title, let's add demo event 1, and date would be, let's say, 15th of October, time 15. Yeah, that's fine. 15 till 16. Okay. 1 hour event, venue, online, description, demo event to showcase. Okay. So now we have captured the data, right? So the users have entered this, and now what we need to do is save the data. Now that will be on the submit button. Okay. So the submit button, we need to store the data, and that data needs to be captured from this form. So there are two ways to do it in Power Apps. So the easy way is submit form 1, and the single statement will save the data to your backend. Okay. And update context to false. And the next set of statement I need to do is reset form 1, and that will be my submit form. So if you see, I have demo event 1, 15th, 16th, online demo event to showcase. And the moment I click this submit button, this should be saved and visible in my gallery in the backend. So if I click submit, I haven't added any notify or anything, but that should do the job. All right, perfect. You can see the second record is now available, called as demo event 1 and everything. Let's quickly increase this to 220 and increase this to 220 as well, so that we map both our gallery and this properly. All right. And actually, this should start from start. Yes, actually. So, and we will give some padding to from left. Let's give padding of 30. Yeah, 30 is enough. Here we will give padding from left to 30. All right. All right. Looking more like a gallery now. Even detailed description venue, right? So now there is a white space, right? So we need to cover this white space. So what we can do to cover this white space is, let's add a couple more text boxes in our gallery. Okay. So we'll add one for created by, one for created on, one for last modified by, and last modified on. So 4 we have added. Let's add 4 in our gallery header container as well. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. And we will change the text color to white. All right, perfect. We have this would be my created by, and Dataverse captures these details by default. So you don't have to capture it. But SQL, or if you're working with any other data source, there is a chance that these details might not be available out of the box. So modified by, and finally modified on. So these 4 columns are maintained by Dataverse itself, modified on. Okay. And now what we can do is, can anyone tell me what will be my label text here? If you were listening, can anyone tell me what will be my label text here?
This item dot created by.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. So this item dot created by will give me the name of the user. So full name was it? Display name. Full name. Yeah, you can see Akshan Sharma is now visible. Let's increase the width of this to 130. Perfect. Let's increase this one to 130 as well. Created on would be similar to created by. This will be this item dot created on, and this will be my text column formatted in our best practice format, which is NF date format. Similar to that, we have modified by. This will be this item dot modified by dot full name, and we give 20. Was it 130? Yeah, 130, and we'll give this one to 130 as well. Lastly, modified on, we give this item dot modified on, and we'll wrap this in the text format so that it follows our best practice NF date format, and now done. You can see now it's looking more like a gallery, a proper modern looking gallery. Now what we need is there's still white space, which is good because we need to add um, two icons here, which will allow us to add uh, like view icon and delete icon, right? So container, we need to add a horizontal container. So horizontal container at the end, perfect. And this horizontal container would be height 60. So don't need flexible height. Minimum height should be 60. Width should be 60. That's more than enough. Let's give this as too much. 200. Okay, 100. Let's give 30 more so it covers a little more. Okay, perfect. So now we have a horizontal container. We can add two icons, or let's just add two buttons and we'll make them look like icons. It's too much UI effort. There should be classic icons. Yes. All right. So that should be my eye icon. View. Yeah. View and delete. What's that icon called? Bin, I guess. Yeah. Not even bin. Okay. Have to scroll down.
Trash, trash.
Trash. Yes. Thank you. All right. So we'll change this to 30 by 30. Same for this one. 30. 30. All right. This should be horizontal. This and this gap should be 30 between them. Not too much. 20. Yeah. Okay. Now color should be our custom one. So what we will do is go to color We'll select our NF nav color, same as that. All right. So we have our view icon and delete icon. Still too big. Okay, yeah, better. All right, so we have our gallery, the icons, and everything. So now let's head back to our form pop-up, and I'll show you the second approach to save the data, which is our submit form. So that's the submit form one. So there is another function called a patch. Have uh, have anyone have any one of you used patch before to save the data? If you ever worked,
Yes.
you used it. Nice.
Yes.
What about you, Rajat? Have you used it? I guess no. Um,
Yeah, patch functionality, right?
yeah, have you used it before?
Yeah, yes. I do all my work in patch itself.
Nice. Right. So patch is very powerful, but we have to be cautious with patch. So if you are trying to patch one or two records, then patch is fine. But if you're trying to patch more than one record or multiple records, then you have to use for all, which is the go-to idea of everyone. So if we use for all with patch, it becomes a problem against the best practice. So for all is an iterator in Power App. It's not a loop. That's the main difference, which everyone gets confused. So patch events is fine, but if you're using for all, it's an iterator. You can't break it like a loop. In traditional coding, for all or for loop is a loop. You can give a condition and terminate that loop at any point of time. But for all is an iterator. So if you combine for all with patch, it becomes a problem against the best practice because it will take lots of time to actually um, process all your items and patch them. But if it is one in our case, then it's fine. So we will do like patch and events.
So what does patch exactly do?
So patch exactly is same as submit form. So patch, it explains the name itself. So patch is a function which takes the user inputs from screen and saves them in the database. That's patch is. So it basically patch your data from front end to back end.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and the arguments it takes is patch events defaults. Events defaults is our way to tell patch that you need to create a new record instead of updating it. We will use the patch with update as well in a second. So what you need to do now is patch events, and what all columns you need to update is event title, and your event title would be coming from this data card value one, copy, paste, dot, this is a text, right? So data card value one dot value. Okay, yeah, value. Second column, which we need to update is start date. So start date, and this will be our date value one. Third one we need to update is end date, which should be date value 2 dot selected date. Fourth column we need to update is venue. That will be this data card value 3 dot value. And then finally we have description, and description should be coming from this one. Description dot value. Curly braces close and patch close. So this way, this is another way to create our records in our database. So let's create another event, demo event 2. We'll create 9th till 10th. I'm not patching time right now, so I'm not sure. Need to populate this. Yeah, doesn't matter. I'm not patching it. So online event teams, online teams event, anything. All right. And now we will add a notify as well. So now next concept is error handling, right? So for example, let's say I'll give you both the scenarios. All right. So let's add a notify after patch. Okay. Notify record created successfully. Did any of you use error handling before? Rajat, Nishan, you used it before.
Yes, yes. If
You use
error.
if error function. Nice. What about
Yes.
you, Rajat? You use if error?
Yeah, yes, we use it.
Nice. All right. That's good then. So for you, Priya, if error is used for error handling. Error handling. So for example, if this patch gets executed successfully. So this patch statement is something which we are using to create the data in our backend, right? So this patch gets executed successfully, then only this notify will be executed successfully because of this semicolon, right? So semicolon is a sequential order of execution of statements. So this is your first statement, and if this runs or fails, then your notify gets executed successfully, or yeah, this message will be thrown on the screen. Now assume a scenario where this patch is not um, running for whatever reason, right? Still your notify will run and show something called record created successfully, right? So if this is happening, it's a big problem because your record was not created. Your patch failed for some reason. Still, you're throwing a message saying your record created successfully, right? So that's a problem. So how we can solve the problem? By using if error. So if error basically allows you to terminate the sequential flow. So for example, if this runs successfully, then only notify will be triggered, update context will be this, and reset form will be triggered. Otherwise, it won't execute the future statements, which is your notify, update context, and reset form. So here we need to say there was some error while creating a new event. And I will do first error dot rst first. First error dot message, and that will be that. Else run notify, update context, and reset form. All right, so that's my error handling. Notify completely done. This is done. All right, so that I don't need. Notify this. All right, that should do the job. Okay, let's hit submit form. And you can see created record successfully, and the record is now visible in our gallery as well. Now, the next thing we need to do is view or update the form, right? So our record, our create functionality is working fine. Now we need to add the update functionality. Now, the update would be based on my eye icon, and let's go to on select of that. On select, what we need to do is update context elwhere, and we'll set this to true. We'll set this to true. Now this will allow us to open the same form and do some modifications. And another best practice which I follow is that instead of using gallery.selected to display the selected record on front end, we need to use variables again here. Why? Because right now it's on the same screen, so probably fine. But when you are having your forms on different screen and you are trying to reference this gallery.selected on the next screen, what it actually does is it first loads this screen again and then loads the next screen. So the cross connection control reference is a very bad practice in Power Apps. You should refrain from it. So instead of using cross control references, what you need to do is store the reference in a variable first and then start using it wherever and however you want. So for example, we will use set here so that we will future proof if for whatever reason we have to move our form from this screen to another screen. So it is still a global variable. So gware underscore event selected event, and the value would be this item. Right, so we have this. Let's click this. Now we have it. Now still there is nothing on the form. So that is because of two things. The first one is we need to set the item property. So item property should be our gware selected event. And the second one is going back, we need to change the form mode. So right now, if you remember, I changed the form mode defaulted to new mode. Now what I need to do is I need to open that form in edit mode. So edit form 1, and that should make it in edit mode. If I click this, now you can see I have the same data available in my form, which I clicked. So right now I click demo event 1. That's why it's appearing. If I click this, Bootcamp for Power Apps description is blank. Same way, I have demo event 2 and something. So let's add some description against our Bootcamp for Power Apps. So let's add it. Updated using form. All right, now we have patch statement right here. Right, so this is our patch statement. Yes, so this is our patch statement, right? So and this I told you the second parameter is very important. So patch takes 3 parameters. First is your data source. Second is your defaults or the record which you need to update. And the the third one is basically what columns you need to update. So our second one, your patch event and defaults. So what we need to modify here is this defaults one. So now, since we are in edit mode, what we need to do is change this default events to actually looking up which record we need to update, right? So what we will do is we'll quickly write a simple if statement. If our form1 dot mode is equals to form mode dot edit. If this is true, if this is actually in edit mode, what we need to do is look up events where events is equals to gwhere selected event dot events. I'll explain the condition in a second. All right, so now this is the new change in our code. What this means? This means I am checking if I am trying to create a new record or if I am trying to modify or update a new record, right? So we'll write, and it's always a good practice to write comments as well, right? So do yourself and your future self a favor, always write comments. This condition will check if user is trying to create a new record or modify the existing one. All right, then lookup. Lookup is another function which we use to fetch a particular record from your table. So lookup events, and then lookup again takes two or three parameters. Third one is optional. So the first one is again the data source or the table name. The second one is the condition. Now events is the GUID I talked about yesterday. So this is my GUID column, which is events. This is my GUID. Okay. So GUID column equals to your selected event dot events, right? So that's my GUID column comparing against the item I selected, that GUID. That will give me a record. So that is your record. Your return type of lookup is record. Now that's the level, that's the depth of understanding you need to have when you are learning or doing it for the first time, or even if you are a professional, you need to have these little details jot down in your brain, right? So return type, what is the return type of lookup? Return type of lookup is record. Can the return type change from record to something else? Yes, actually. So if you give third record, which is let's say event title. So the moment you give third column in your lookup, the return type changes from record to the return type of that column. So event title is of text. That's why the return type of lookup is now text. And if I give end date as my this, then the return type changes to date time. So that's how you need to understand how Power Apps works, how backend things or how Power Apps actually reads the data, how it actually understand the code and execute it. If you understand the code to this depth of understanding, you will easily be able to code Power Apps, no problem at all. So anyways, any questions till now? Whatever I explained and I'm explaining.
Yeah, I
No,
do
no.
have question.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, like, you are using patch function instead of using submit form,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So, like, if we have a more number of columns,
Mm-hmm.
like, like we have 20, 30 columns of the form. Okay.
Yes.
Then we should go with patch or submit form will directly work.
Now then you should go with I would call batch patch. So I'll show you a batch patch as well. Damn it. 1 second. So there are three ways to patch in Power Apps, right? So the first one is is your for all and patch, where you have to write all the column names and everything like this. So I talked about this, right? So this is the bad approach. So for all and patch. Now the second approach is your switched. So patch and for all instead of for all patch, where the performance improves probably 10x more than that. So that is your patch and for all, and but you still have to write column names. If you have, let's say, 50 columns which you need to update, I know it doesn't look good um, in here. So that's your second approach, improved from the first one, but still not optimized to max level. Now that's the third approach. This is your batch, what I would call. So here, either you can show columns which you need to update, but if you don't want to use this approach like this, there is another way to do it, which is this one, and you just comment the whole thing out. So that's your batch approach, where you don't have to do anything, and this will take care of your uh, patching. That's it. Patch your table name and the collection containing all your records and all the columns, and it will patch it. Considering the schema is exactly the same. So your projects and your call collection schema is exactly the same. It will patch it for you and update it as well. Smart enough to know when to patch and when to update. You don't have to do anything in here. So this is my
Okay, but
go-to approach.
yeah. So, like, how we will collect this thing, like call record to patch this thing?
On click of the save button itself, or anything. So if you want to collect it, you can collect it when, as and when users are adding the record, or you can collect it on click of the submit button first and then patch it. So control
Okay,
is in your hand basically in this approach.
okay. And one more thing, like in previous this gallery, like there's a description thing,
Yeah,
description we are adding in form.
yeah,
So, like the context is large, so that the modern control is like taking more space. Like it is what we can say. Uh, it shows a scroll bar in this
yeah,
description box.
yes,
Like some comments are large,
I know.
some comments are small. So is
Yeah,
there any way to figure it out, like on the basis of length, we can give
yeah,
a good user
that's
experience?
again my trick to use it, and exactly the length function we can use to but the problem is that you have to hit and trial what is the maximum length your maximum width of your column can accommodate. So I'll show you that code as well, how it works. So yeah, I was planning to do it, but it's good that you asked. I'll show you the code how you can do it.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Rajat, you wanted to ask something as well.
No chance, I was fine.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. So let's just consider that length approach right now. Okay, so that's my description. Too big. Let's submit. And now it's showing me the scroll bar, right? So that's what we don't want. If we don't want the scroll bar, what we can do is let's go to this text and we can check if condition, if length of this is greater than, if length of this is greater than, let's say, 30. This is the case. If this is the case, then what we can do is this item dot description. I will take, let's say, 28 28 and append it with dot dot dot. Else I will just keep this as it is. First I need to remove the wrap. All right. 30 is a little too much. Let's skip 20. Yeah. So it will look something like this. So if you have with modern controls, you can use this something like this. So update it for using form this ASF, and you can see how it's not giving me like the whole scroll bar and everything, and it gives me dot dot dot. If this dot 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 appears, that means you have a very large text, and on hover we can display the whole text instead of displaying it and messing up with our gallery UI. So that's the approach I generally use whenever I have a long text. Okay, so instead of 20, I will take 18 here as well, and 26, 5, 20. 18 is the exact one. Yeah, 18 is the exact one. You can see I am not distorting my UI. I'm showing dot dot dot, and I just need to add on hover. I need to on hover or oh damn, I forgot. Yeah, so with
Tooltip,
modern
tooltip.
controls, tooltip is not there. I think
Yeah.
I think they removed it with modern controls, which is very bad, like really bad. So with text, probably if that is the case, use the classic text, use this code, and just on hover do or
Yes.
tooltip, just do self dot text, so that the whole text gets visible on your um, on hover of that. So the moment this dot 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 appears, you can just on hover, and you can display self dot text. That is the whole text basically. So you're not distorting the UI, and still you're giving a way to display the whole text to the user. That's the approach I use. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. All right. Uh, Now the next thing which we wanted to look at. Oh yeah. So we covered our create, we covered update, and now the last functionality which is pending is the delete, which is pretty easy. We just need to go on select of this, and remove from events and this item. That will remove it from my database. Now, the catch is you have to be careful. If you remove it from the table itself, there is no way you can get it back until unless you have auditing enabled and everything. But generally, you can't get it back. So if you use remove function directly on the button, there is a pretty good chance that user might click it accidentally and remove your record from the table. Now, if that happens, they might want to undo it, and there is no feature to undo in Power Apps, right? And if an action is done, it's done. Now, so what I do, there are two ways to mitigate this. One is from front end. So instead of giving the code directly on the edit or sorry, delete icon itself, what you can do is give a center pop-up and tell the user that, okay, are you sure you want to delete this record? If they say yes, then delete it. So your remove will be on the pop-up. Or second approach, which is the architectural approach, is that you never delete, you never hard delete any record, i.e. you never hard delete any record in any of your table, or you only do soft delete. Now, what soft delete is? Soft delete means instead of removing your record from the table completely, what you do is you just um, or you just update your events table with this item, and your new item would be just status changed to uh, events status events dot inactive. Now, what this will do, this will mark your record inactive, but the record will still be there in your system. So if user want to undo for any reason, even after giving them the center pop-up and everything, if they still want to undo, you can still undo it by just making that record inactive. But this is the architectural choice. So it depends on the architect how they're architecting the solution. If they're architecting with hard delete or soft delete. When I architect a solution, I always go with soft delete so that I can recover that record at any point of time if any user comes to me and say that, okay, why can't I undo? So it's future proofing your solution. So it depends on the architect to architect how they want to design their application. So if I want to delete this, I can just delete this, and event ID is required. Okay, fine. It's I thought update will work, but apparently not. I have to patch it. Okay, patch events, this item, and status would be my status events dot inactive. I'll add a notify as well so that I know it got updated. Record deleted. All right. So see, still error. Oh, this one. Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, record deleted, but still it's appearing in my gallery, right? Which I don't want.
Yes.
So what additional step what we need to do is filter this events table with a filter on your status. Status should be equals to status events dot active, and that will make that record invisible. So I only have demo event 2, demo event, and bootcamp event. So the moment I click this delete now, deleted, but still I have it in my backend. So at any point of time, I have to revert it back to its original state. I still can. So that again, that's an architectural choice. So it depends what the organization need or what the project needs and how you want to configure it. So that will be your choice. I can still see demo event 1 and 2, and if I add a status, if I add the status here, that will be inactive. So that covers our CRUD operations, that is create, update, delete, modify, and that. So that's the first main functionality completed for the application. Tomorrow we'll be looking into how we can add filters and how we can actually register. So now, since we have uh, designed one gallery, creating the second screen would be just copy pasting this, changing the configuration slightly, and registering it for the event. And this screen will only be visible to our admins or organizers who are actually creating this event, and the second screen, that is our registration screen, will be visible to all the participants and the attendees. So tomorrow we'll be just copy pasting this screen, creating a registration screen, and adding the filters functionality for this screen. So that will become a full-fledged application to create the events for admins and register for the participants. Hope you learned something and you are able to understand and probably learning some best practices in Power Apps. Any questions?
Yes, Akshansh, like what if we want to use the second approach for delete? So it will be same like we made pop-up for event, add event, right?
Yes, it's the same. So just like we added pop-up for the add form, it will be the same one with one variable and the center pop-up. So it's the same thing. You just need to play with the variables and identify when you are clicking the edit and when you're clicking the add button. Depending upon that, you need to just change the pop-up. It will be the
Okay,
same.
got you.
One, yeah.
Also, as I'm new to all these formulas, so is there any resources to get better understanding of these?
Yes. So resource wise, you can just Google Power FX formula reference. The top one will you need to open learn.microsoft.com Power FX formula reference overview. Open this one and you will have all the functions available. So you see under overview, you have ABS acceleration and everything. So what did we use? We used text function today, right? So you search for text, open this, and I'll be honest, I can't remember. There are more than 100 formulas in Power Apps, right? So I use this URL to identify which function can achieve the requirement. So these are some of the commonly used in our day-to-day life. That's why I remember them on top of my head. But if you are new to this, it would be good to go through this list and understand what these functions are and how you can use them. You can understand the description and the parameters it takes and everything. And also we use lookup, right? So let's just search lookup and let's see the syntax of that. Let get past it. Yes, exactly. So you see, lookup table, your formula, which is your condition, and reduction formula, i.e. your, this is the optional parameter I talked about, and you can fetch one particular column instead of the whole record. So this one I showed you by changing or by giving event date and event title. So you can use this reference. This is the best resource to understand about formulas and the syntax of.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Also, I want to ask one more thing. Yeah, can you please
Yeah,
open that Canvas app?
yeah. Sorry, I stopped sharing 1 second. Yeah,
So, like you add icon from the in filter, right? So you
yeah.
used inbuilt icon. So can we import any other icon?
No, that's the problem. It's restricted to the out of the box ones only. So you have to use this, but there is a way to do it. So, but it's a long way, right? So you can use images and SVGs, right? So I showed you about SVGs. Did I? No, I don't think so. I showed you about SVGs. Okay, so for SVGs, what you can do, I don't know if Nishant and Rajat, you used SVGs, but I use them a lot and it's pretty good. So if you want to do design like a custom UI, there is this site SVG repo, which I use extensively. So if you have any custom UI requirement, right? So I don't like the view icon and it's hideous. So you can search for view icon and identify what icon you need to use. So you have all these different icons, and if you want to use any particular one in your application, so let's say you want to use this one, right? You like this one. So open this, and you can download the SVG vector. SVG, come to your Power App, right? Media. There is media. Yeah, media. Add media, upload, and view SVG. Open, and it started appearing, right? And if you want to use it, then use it. So that's the alternate way if you want to have like a custom one and create a horizontal vertical container and add your button beside it and button only. So that will behave like a custom kind of a thing. So if I show you horizontal container and I cut paste this inside this, right? What we need to use is this and add a button inside it. Make the button transparent. Make the button transparent, right? Your this one would be like this, and fill your container instead of filling your button, right? So fill your container with this one, or let's say this one. So, yeah, so let's say you need to filter it by like this. Okay, your button would be, let's say, save. So that's how you are still you're still creating button and everything, but your UI is custom now. So that's another workaround way to add like a custom icons and buttons using the container approach and using buttons. That's the workaround to have custom UI. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one way to do custom UI. It's a lot of work when you are building enterprise level applications. So I would suggest you refrain it, try to use out of the box ones as much as possible, because it's quicker and easier to maintain the UI. But if you have to use custom ones, then that's the workaround way to do it. Any other questions?
I'm good.
No,
Yeah,
nothing as of now.
yeah, no, Akshans, thank you.
All
Yes.
right. Thank you, everyone. All right. I'll see
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
see
you.
you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow. Bye all, yeah.
Bye.